Township Town Board meeting to order for August 7th, 2023. First item on the agenda is the approval. Patrick?
Mr. Chair, if it pleases the board, several changes for this evening. We'll start with the easy one. Please add supplemental information to consent item 5S regarding an improvement 2022-6 change order. This is information about costs and logistics of the project. Then I would recommend under town planner item going to, am I missing my, there we go. Under new business, we have it listed as supplemental here, 8B, Gerald and Linda Price, 5425 Peterson Road. I would recommend to the board at this point, we make that 8A and drop drought warning DNR correspondence to 8B. With those changes, I would submit the agenda to the board for its approval.
All right, board have any changes?
No. I'll move to approve the amended agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item is approval of payment of the bills.
I signed off on the bills, so move to approve payment of the bills.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that motion carries. Number 4 is approval of minutes from July 17th, 2023. Anybody have any changes?
I did not. I'll move to approve the minutes.
I would just mention, I did see one change. I meant to call you and I forgot. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And that is where it was talking about the North Oaks Company, and it listed Mark Hauge as a resident on Centerville Road, which I think is just a slight,
That is incorrect. We will make that change.
otherwise I will second that approval.
All right, motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, item 5 is we've got a number of consent agenda items. I know I have a couple I'd like to pull and talk about.
Mr. Chair, so do I. I'll give you what I have, and if you want to add change. I'd like to talk about 5C, 5E, and my other ones is N. That's the ones I want to talk about.
Okay, I'd like to include M, the archery hunt.
Okay.
And seeing as how we have a supplement for that that trail improvement, I'd like to pull that and go over that too.
Yep.
That's S.
Yes.
Okay.
So right now we're pulling 5. Got any more?
Isn't that enough?
I am good. So I will move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So let's move into 5C. This is the presidential election polling location. Patrick, you just want to give us a quick overview?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, staff was notified of logistics involving our polling locations for this year's presidential election. There was a conflict with one of them having to do with our school location. So Ramsey County Elections did contact us, came up with some recommendations for changing the location for precincts, and that's what you have in front of you.
So it's precinct 1 and 5,
Correct.
and they want to move it to the Tamarack Nature Center.
Yeah. Staff toured that facility with representatives from Ramsey County, found that it was suitable for purposes.
I believe that is just for the primary, because it was on the school calendar for the general election. So it's just for the March primary.
Yes.
So is this something we should put on our webpage?
That is the plan, yes.
All right, any other discussion on that one?
No.
So I guess then I will move to approve the 2024 presidential election polling location change.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, then the next one is item 5E. This is a state fair park and ride, no parking request.
Yes, Mr. Chair, board directive to staff in a couple meetings over the last few months was to get to the bottom of an amenable situation or agreement between the two homeowners association that are directly adjacent to and are affected by state fair parking at the church off of Gilfillan there. We did contact representatives, both the board presidents, to agree to what you have in your packet, essentially no parking. Where's my map? Or Dale, you want to talk a little bit about the, yep, go ahead.
Limits of the no parking are from Highway 96,
Yeah.
from on Greenhaven, from 96 all the way up to Allendale, and then Gilfillan Court, Gilfillan Lane, and then all the Weston Woods, Curve, Moon Lake Circle, Weston Woods, and, yeah, I think I
Yep.
covered that.
Has this clearly been designated as a state fair parking?
Yeah, it's on their website as.
On their website?
We checked it on Friday.
Okay.
But yeah, we still haven't heard from anybody.
Nope, we usually do by now, and we have not.
Well, I'm just wondering is there a reason to even go through this process if they're not going to hold it there?
Well, they are.
How do we know?
We
don't
do
have any
know it.
notification.
It's posted for 2023 State Fair Parking Calvary Lutheran Church on their website, on the State Fair's website. And typically what we've had in the past is we've gotten a memo from the church requesting that they're going to be having buses coming out. We have not received that yet. This is kind of a preemptive plan.
Well-
So,
Because all of a sudden, what if the church just changes their mind and decides not to let them have it?
I guess there is always a possibility for that, but I think at this point, since it is posted as a place for parking or a place for rides on the State Fair's website, I think it's a pretty good chance it's going to happen.
You could always make the resolution contingent upon
We do that too.
state fair parking.
Dale, how long does it take to get the signs out? Do you do that just a couple days before?
Yeah, the day before. There'll be a lot of signs.
Well, I'm getting at, if we postpone this till our 21st meeting, we would still have time to get signs posted, we'd still have time to pass it, and then we would know if somebody's ever going to say yay or nay. Besides us just guessing.
If that's the board's pleasure, I mean, we're staff, we'll do what you want, but I think at this point, the ship has sailed. I'm 99.5% sure they're going to have State Fair rides out of that parking lot, as they have in years past. But again, if you want to be 100% certain, sure, wait until your next board meeting.
Well, Scott brought up another point.
So I see the one email correspondence. Are we comfortable, because I know we had talked about getting formal resolutions from their boards agreeing to it, and here we have an email. And I think in the past, we got an email, and then there was a lot of bedlam and turmoil from other residents who didn't agree. And I'm trying to avoid you bearing the brunt of all these residents calling, saying, what the heck, we didn't agree to this.
I think of the people that were copied in on the correspondence as multiple board members of both associations, this is a fairly representative statement.
And the boards, these are nonprofit corporations. The boards do run these corporations. While the individual residents may not like the idea, the fact is the representation is through the board, it's through the association. So I guess it's really up to the associations to deal with their own residents.
So if you start receiving phone calls, the instructions will be,
Pointing them back to their.
call your board.
Exactly.
Okay, because
That's what
again,
we had intended to do last year too.
you got a lot of calls the past few years, and we're trying to avoid that.
We are.
And I'm more okay than I was, but in the future, they should put their titles down, so these look like personal emails
Yeah, sure.
versus a representative of an association, no letterhead, no nothing, no representation that it really came from them, other than individuals. But,
Well, the solution there is simply send a confirmation email saying, confirming that as president of the association, name the association, you're hereby representing to the township that the association is requesting this happen. These signs be posted.
So I think if it makes sense, I might make the motion contingent on a couple things.
I'd like to start one.
Okay, So I will move to agree to agenda item 5E, State Fair Park and Ride, no parking request, contingent on the actual request from the church being submitted to staff by our next meeting, the 21st of August, and contingent on additional confirmation from the South Winds and the Weston Woods Homeowners Associations clearly stating the intent of their board, their respective boards, to make this request. Does that make sense?
Sound thorough? Steve?
That sounds good to me. I'll second that.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thanks.
All right, the next one on consent is the archery deer hunt. I know when they did the deer count last winter, was it? How many was it, 12?
It was not a sizable number and not representative of fact.
No.
Well, they're requesting just the typical county hunt only at Poplar Lake. I would like to see staff contact them, and if we can get at least the one for Tamarack also. And what was the other one that, State Tools was private guys, right?
I think it has been in the
Yeah,
past.
and so was Benson. But wasn't there another township property we were issuing the hunt on? But anyway, as long as we can reach out to them and see if they can add that to their list.
Okay.
'Cause we've got more than 12 deer in the township.
We do.
Scott has like 50 of them in his backyard.
I hit 12 almost every night I come away from the office.
Can you drive by my place?
Yeah, you have big fall.
It'd take a few year out too. Yeah, I can do that.
All right, so do we want to pull this then, and then, so we can get it all under one, if they can add those?
Sure.
We'll just,
That's fine.
I just probably need a motion just to,
So I will move to table consent item 5M 2023 archery deer hunt through the Ramsey County Cooperative.
Okay.
I'll second that.
motion made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, moving on then, we have item N, this is a truck replacement. Dale, you want to just recap what we talked about on our exec board meeting with this?
So with the number 41, the 2007 Freightliner, we have an option to replace it with a state contract lease purchase option. A little different than our past purchases, usually direct purchase, state contract. In this particular purchase, you lease 1 month, and you can pay it off, and Chad's seen the language from the vendor, the day you purchase it too. And then you have the truck for use immediately, within a reasonable amount of time. They got a lease agreement, get that all signed and whatnot, and delivery could be within a few weeks. Where we have some challenges logistically is with and it's still, I don't know if it's still due to COVID or inflation or what, but just delivery dates on other truck chassis we're looking at. If we want a 24, we're looking at delivery of the chassis of 25, and then that's not including this upfit with the box, plow, wing on sander, all that stuff. So this particular truck comes with all those plus. I got some pluses that we typically don't have in our standard vehicles, because it's a DOT or MnDOT spec truck built from MnDOT. It does have the tractor air, package air and electrical that goes into the frame. So resale in the future could be good because it does have the ability to hook up a pup or whatever, because it has that ability. It has the dual 60-gallon pre-wet tanks. We just recently started on that, but that has that on the side mount on the truck, as you can see. If you look at the flyer they provided us, it has falls reversible plow, and back to all that. The equipment that's on this particular truck chassis, Western Star, is the same equipment we've used on all the past 3 purchases, replacement of trucks. Stainless steel box, full snowplow equipment, all ready to go out the door. The concerns that Chad brought up about the lease purchase, I think he's comfortable with what the vendors that provided in that regards.
I had a few questions, and Dale has the answers, so that's fine. I'm satisfied. I'm comfortable.
And this was in the capital improvement budget?
Yes, and it was not funded for the amount needed for the purchase, but I've been assured by our finance officer that it can be purchased, but it may mean delaying purchasing other items next year because of this encumbrance this year.
Any other questions, Steve?
No.
Scott?
We had asked some other questions about this during the executive meeting. Were you able to reach out and get those answered?
Yeah,
Can you,
let me pull up my notes. So, it's on the back of my,
Well, one of them
please ask me those questions
One of
and
them
I will.
was trade-in.
What's that?
Did you talk to them about trade-in?
Yes, they'll buy it outright. They'll buy it from us outright. So
do we know how much we would get for what we currently have? That was
He
a
hasn't come out
question.
and look at it yet. So he has not come out to look at the truck.
It's a MnDOT spec truck, I guess I'm using kind of the right terminology, which is bright orange, and that's not our color. Are they going to help us repaint?
The truck will come white.
Truck
The
will,
chassis, the truck chassis will come white, the cab.
Are they gonna paint it there?
I honestly don't know where they're gonna be, but it will come white from the,
And then,
Dealership.
why the lease? I don't understand why we have to lease it for,
but it's so MnDOT, they did it in anticipation MnDOT's gonna be buying a number of trucks, and they still may buy them all, as they have right of first refusal, but if we get our order in, we can't be refused the truck, because this was Boyer Ford and Western Star, all these different corporations putting it together, anticipation that the MnDOT would buy them. And they still may buy them all.
but they're sitting on the lot right now. All it's a
Yeah.
matter of just saying we'll take one?
Yes, we just have to commit. If we say we will purchase one, they will reserve that for us when it's all set up and ready to go.
Okay, so I'm still confused, then why do we have to lease it for, what was it, a year?
Well, because this is a state contract, this is how they propose it in the state contract, so you have to do a 1-month lease. That was the MnDOT, because it's available for CPVM members, Cooperative Purchasing Venture members, and MnDOT. So that's the good news, it's available to all of us.
This was the way the program was set up, and we're simply stepping into the state's shoes under the program, so
Yep.
we're stuck with their method. But as Dale pointed out, we can, one of the questions we had and they answered was that you can exercise your option to purchase immediately. So you pay 1 month of lease payments, and then you'll buy it. And there's a schedule, if you notice, a schedule of
Amortization.
payoffs that take into account your lease payment. So it's, you're still basically buying the truck.
and this is something that I'm gathering because it's advantageous for us that you'd like to see done before this next snowfall.
Correct.
And at what point are they going to be able to give you an estimate as to the trade-in value?
I can get that this week, probably, knowing that all that if we move forward. And I can bring that back to the board. Or we have other options, we can sell on Purple Wave auction. We've had good luck with some of those different auction avenues too, with better prices. And the good news, used trucks are fairly, the value is much more than it was a few years ago.
I think that there was also questions about, since they do have a large number of trucks on the lot right now waiting, is there any motivation for them to adjust the pricing so that if we do it now, as opposed to them continuing to wait and see what happens?
They can't discount the price or anything because it's the state contract. They got to follow with this purchase option. So they're not going to, whether it's a state or a city or a township, it would be the same. It wouldn't matter if it was now or 5 months from now. It's whatever that contract length is. And maybe when the contract ends, they might, if they.
So they're not open to the idea of buy one, get one?
I tried that, Scott, and it didn't buy into it one bit. Then he went on to explain to me the state contract.
3 for 1?
Yeah, I did try that.
The price that we were quoted, is that gonna be the price with them painting it white?
Yes.
Oh, all right. So we're getting some sort of break there.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, anything else?
No, I think those were it.
Steve?
Nope.
And plus too, we're budgeting for it, it's a little bit over our budget requirement, but also with the supply chain, this could be interrupted, and then we maybe end up paying more just with price increases, so.
Guess you need to decide what you're going to defer to pay for this.
I'm sure I will get reminded by the finance officer.
Constantly.
All right, if there's no other questions, do I have a motion to approve?
So I will move to approve consent item 5N, the truck number 41 replacement.
If I may, Mr. Chair, you should also add language, the board authorizes the town chair and town clerk to execute the lease agreement.
And I will add that to the motion.
And I'll second that.
All right, motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that motion carries. So the last one under consent, we have improvement 2022-6 change order. This is for the trail along White Bear Parkway. Larry, you gonna kind of overview this for us?
Yes, Mr. Chair and Town Board. As you know, we are working on the Hammond Road and street improvements and Township Parkway. There's a segment of trail along White Bear Parkway that's the city of White Bear Lake maintains the roadway and the township maintains the trail in that area. That segment of roadway is actually in the township. And so as we were starting our work, we started thinking about this segment of trail and when would we do this segment of trail if not now. And so in your packet, I have a map, some maps showing where this is located, and then kind of a description of what we're looking for your direction on whether we should go forward with adding this to the Hammond Road Street Improvement Project. We're estimating a cost between $50,000 to $70,000 to add that segment of trail. And we're still waiting for the contractor for an official price on that. They've already mobilized and done some of the trail work on the project itself, so they would have to remobilize some equipment to remove that added segment if we do add it to this project. So tonight we're just looking for general direction from the board on whether to include this with the Hammond Road Street Improvement Project. If it's not included with this project, the other option could be to do it when we do the Poor Lakes Park parking lot, upper lot, and add it then. But normally we do these trail improvements when we're doing the street improvements. But in this case, this is somewhat of an orphan in that we don't have street improvements for this segment of trail. So we'd just like to get your direction on whether we should continue to move forward with the contractor for Hammond Road to include this in the project.
Steve, questions?
Really no questions. I mean, as you say, it's an orphan, so it's going to be picked up one place or another.
I also wanted to mention the conditions of that trail are equal to what we are replacing on.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you that same question. Was that put in at about the same time as the trail is that road coming up from Parkway, whatever that?
I don't know if it was in.
Yes, it was. It was all around at
So
the
it's
same time.
It's the same condition, but I have no other questions. I think we should just do it.
And then just to clarify, it's only the section of the trail that's between, I think it's Township Drive and Birch Lake Boulevard, is that
Yes.
correct? The rest of the trail that goes along the parkway, is that all city?
There is none.
There is none?
There is none, yeah.
There's nothing going east.
It crosses over, there's sidewalk, it crosses over and goes along the south.
I saw these yellow
side.
lines.
Oh,
and I
it
guess-
jumps on the other side.
Yeah.
That's, okay.
All right. So this would make it, so initially, the
South of
trail,
Birch Lake is the city, so.
okay.
Well, that's where it looks like it stops.
Yeah, it jogs over to the east side, goes by Lifetime.
Oh,
The city portion.
And that, I believe, is concrete, but I'm not 100%
all right,
sure.
okay, that was my
you're right.
question.
Are you gonna put it down the same size trail? I don't know, what is that, a 6-foot trail?
8 foot.
8 foot? And then, because it's 50 to 70 over, I know we got favorable bidding on the Hammond Road project. But obviously, this isn't gonna come out of, looks like we're gonna have to do this under a levy.
Yes.
But is this still under the amount that we had basically budgeted for the whole project?
Yeah. When we initially approved the project, yes.
Excuse me, are we allowed to intervene or come forward with?
You wanna talk something about this particular project?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you wanna come up to the podium, state your name and address, we'll hear what you got.
So my name is Bob Leeper, and I live at 2302 Fifth Court. And I've had a short conversation with Mr. Poplar about Fifth Court. Our road is a disaster, and there's potholes, and it's breaking apart. And I got an email from him today, I think it was, saying that this project, what was slated for this summer, is getting pushed for 2 more years because of funding, and there's a watershed issue, which I could deal with that another day, but to hear you guys talking about spending $50,000 to $70,000 on a trail when our street is falling apart is a little disturbing. So I'm just wondering if,
Larry, what's the rating on that trail? Do you remember?
The trail,
I mean, the road.
their street, so they're in the Hoxie neighborhood.
Yep.
That's the neighborhood we're currently still studying. And they were originally in the works for 2023. And yeah, as the board is aware, we've been talking about our street projects, and we've discussed rearranging some things in this Hoxie neighborhood has complications related to drainage, right of way, and easement area that we still need to research to get to do the roadways properly. And so at the exec meeting, we've talked about shifting the Hoxie Road project to 2025 and keeping the Mallard Ponds at 2024.
So, Mr. Chair, if I may, correct me if I'm wrong, there was property acquisition involved in Hoxie neighborhood too?
Potentially. That's part of what we need to research and determine with the drainage issues. And
Couldn't remember
some of that property acquisition just takes time. It takes up to a year. If we need to go down a path where we need to acquire property.
And until we have a feasibility study, and then we have to know what we're looking at for cost, and we gotta know what we gotta bond. It's not something we can just jump into. But the township's been pretty committed on our road improvements, and we've got a schedule. And I know sometimes funding and money access is gonna bounce us around too. I don't know, is that gonna get moved up because of the funding we've received or not? It's still pretty much 2025?
2025 is a reasonable time frame to get that project done.
I know that's probably what you didn't want to hear, but
Well, I think that 2025 is not so much for the money, which is always an issue, but it's more the
Logistics.
research, the engineering, the acquisition, and so on.
Yes.
It's complicated.
Yes. And in the meantime, I did receive your email back, and yeah, I agree. If there's needs to be some work to address the current conditions, we work with Public Works to get that done in the meantime.
okay.
It's a Band-Aid to fix.
It has been for several years.
Well,
and it just keeps breaking up, and then it ends
Sure.
up in my driveway because I'm the lowest point in the neighborhood. And if you, I think I said in a couple emails prior to, I've lived back there for 30 years, and the drainage issue affects me 100%. Neighbors, none, because I get all the watershed from them. I'm at the low point, and everybody else lives basically up on a hill, so all the water comes to me. I've asked in the past if we could get some type of storm drains brought in there, but I have worked with Mike Johnson in the past to get a sump system behind my garage where the water funnels through, and it usually floods my yard, but because he allowed us to put this in and run our drainage pipe through the easement out to Eagle Street, it's somewhat under control. And to trade off all of the work that would be necessary to research the drainage system and the acquisition of property, I would lean towards, let's just replace the street and let me deal with the flooding issue, because I'm the one that's taking it all. If that's a
Well, and that's part of the reason why this is a little more involved than just going in there and doing a road. So, and that's what the feasibility of the study will research too for you.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not just your street. I mean, this is a larger neighborhood, and there's other drainage issues that we're looking at.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Bob, appreciate it.
I'll just say this real quickly, Bob, just pay attention to the upcoming meetings where that's going to, in the next year, where that's going to be discussed, so that you are on record of what everybody's aware, what your issues are as we move forward. Just keep watching.
All right, will do. Thank you.
All right, so we're back to this trail. Any other questions?
No.
All right, then I would be looking for a motion.
So I will move to approve consent item 5S, the improvement 2022-6 change order.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion's made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, now let me get back
An
to,
official change order will come your way when we have the official numbers from the contract.
okay,
Before we move off the consent agenda item, Mr. Chair, 5H, I just think we want to change one word in there. That's a consent agenda item for a special town board meeting. I would request that we take it out where the statement says beginning at 2 PM to attend township days. And I say that because there's opportunities before that we were there. And just to make it clear, I just think it should be for that day. That's what the posting says. It doesn't have any dates on it. It just says special board meeting for Saturday, September 16th.
Take the time out?
Take the time out.
Okay. Is that
That way-
okay, Mr. Attorney?
I prefer you leave the time in, but say beginning at whatever this thing starts.
starts at 2, but
That's the official start time, but there is preparation and
How about say commencing at 8 AM?
there you go. I'm good.
You got the problem solved.
Okay.
I'm not
That's it.
going at 8.
Let me know how that goes for you.
I'll be there at 10, but that's okay.
You can come anytime you want after 8 AM.
Perfect.
Sound good, Scott? You gonna make that?
I didn't think so, but I will.
All right, moving on. Item 6, old business, we have none. 7th, public hearing, we have none. So that brings us to item 8A, that's Jerry and Linda Price for a lot split.
Correct. We did ask Larry to join us for this one as well.
Are you familiar with this?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair and Town Board. Peterson Road was improved a couple of years ago, where we extended sewer and water to the properties along Peterson Road. And we provided sewer and water stubs to the properties along Peterson Road. In the Price's case at 5425 Peterson Road, they have a parcel of large enough size to be able to subdivide that. And so we provided 2 stubs for that parcel. And so the request before you tonight is to split the lot into parcel A, which is the existing residence, which would be 22,300 square feet. And then a new parcel B, which is 14,600 square feet in size. They both would meet the minimum lot size and width requirements in the R1 zone. I think I touched on that. There was an initial request for the lot split that has since been changed to meet the town code, where the lot lines are shown at substantially right angles. So there is no variance needed in this case. This is simply a lot split at this point. The septic system for the current property kind of straddles the new property line that would be created, so that would need to be removed as a part of this lot split. And then we're requesting with the survey to add the proposed water and sewer connections on the survey, the existing sewer and water connections, or stubs. There is an outstanding easement which we were discussing when we built Peterson Road, or rebuilt Peterson Road. There was an easement document that we were looking at that we'd like to get that addressed at this time with this with this lot split as well. Parcel A, the existing house would connect with this lot split. Obviously, because the septic system will be going away to build on the new lot. So the town board reviewed this application and approved it with the conditions, and the conditions recommended by the planning commission included their findings were that the proposed lot split adheres to the survey submitted to the township and reviewed with this request. The applicant shall add locations of existing and proposed connections to the sewer and water on the survey. Any required easements shall be completed, signed, and submitted to the township. And one thing that, I don't know if Evan spoke to you about, but you could have that placed on your survey now, and when you record it, then you don't have to go through the trouble of that easement document.
I disagree with that point.
Oh, you do? Okay. Okay.
Respectfully disagree with that point.
Okay.
What is the purpose of the easement, Larry?
That's the easement for the sewer lines on the rear lot, rear side of the lot.
They're going to cross lot A?
It's along the back frontage of the existing lot.
Okay. Yeah, we should really have that should be a formal easement agreement.
Yeah, and we had that drafted at the time of the project. It just never got recorded or signed.
It doesn't sound like it was necessary anyway until now, so.
now.
Yeah. That should be a condition.
Okay. With the new lot, there's a parkland dedication fee of $3,500. And then the applicant would have to acquire any applicable federal, state, and local permits for the work. And also adhere to state, federal, and local ordinances and regulations, and pay the connection charges for the project, including SAC and WAC fees. So with that, I'll turn it back to the board. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Steve?
Just for clarity, the SAC and WAC charges, what are they? How much?
Yes, when we did the work on Peterson Road, we provided those costs to the homeowner, and I don't know if any of these have changed, but the water access charge at that time was $2,440.
Yeah.
The sewer access charge is $2,485. And the local sewer access charge is $600.
None of those have changed since we did the work.
Okay. And then there's permits. There's an interior water permit, interior sewer permit, water meter permit, and a septic system abandonment permit as a part of this.
So those are fees that, in order to move forward, they have to be taken care of, at least on the lot B.
When they do their connection,
When they do their connection.
that's when those
Okay.
would be taken care
But
of.
on lot A, or option A, that's going to be done now because the septic system is not going to be used. So that is the applicant, I just want to make sure you're aware that there's a,
Larry, let's go back to that easement issue.
Yep.
You're talking about the north-south line running the whole way
Yep.
towards Mayhagen. So were any of those easements recorded?
I think there was one. that was
Because it's
recorded.
obviously the prices, there's the baskets, there's me.
Yep.
There's Ishans. So,
After several attempts with the property owners, only one signed and submitted.
and so what's required of me to submit? Because I've got a long stretch there.
What's required of,
To file this easement or to document it. You'd say you've already got the easements recorded. Does it have to be recorded with the county?
no,
Mr. Chair,
we
they
didn't
have
get them
prepared.
signed by the property owners for some of those parcels.
And then what?
Then they need to be recorded.
That's what I was going with. All right, I kind of dropped the ball on that one.
okay, so to move forward with this particular lot split, we want to take care of that now. That's you're
And
adding.
the reason for requiring it, it's really necessary to complete the lot split. It's important we establish that the easement is necessary as part of the lot split. Correct, Larry?
it's the time to do it.
You were at the planning commission meeting, was
Yes.
there any other?
No,
issues?
really, there was not. They had limited access to view it, and so they just went along with the changes for the right angles. It was pretty straightforward, truly. But to go back to what you asked, Chad, is that item number 3 that you said has to be included? The required easement documents shall be completed, signed, and submitted
Yes.
to the township? Is there some more to that, or just to the
No, it's
township?
completed, submitted. I mean, my understanding of Larry's presentation was that the easement was somewhat optional. It's not optional. It's got to be, it's a requirement.
Okay, it is stated as one of the planner's requirements.
Fine, that's
in the
fine.
Numbers here, so.
All right, well, I know the prices are here. You have any other comments for the?
Yes, I do.
Just come up, state your name and address for the record.
Gerald Price, 5425 Peterson Road, Whiteburg Township. I have the documents that Larry's talking about for the easement. I guess I thought there's a setback of 20 feet back there for normal,
That's the building setback.
right?
But the easement's only what, 10 feet? Yep. Correct.
So I basically didn't sign it because that's 10 feet times 200 feet. That's quite a bit of square footage. I mean, if I have to sign it to split my property, I guess I'll do that. The main reason why I'm up here is the park dedication fee. I don't know if there's an ordinance or if there's any documentation stating how this park dedication fee is come by at $3,500 when I look at the township ordinances. It shows single-family dwelling at $1,200 and commercial at $3,500. So I don't
Commercial is 10%.
understand.
I don't know where you get that number. Commercial is a flat
Well, that's what I
10%.
came up with, and then there's also a document that I read on the town board's township that when individual lots are created, a set fee of $1,000 is collected for park dedication fee.
Okay, and
wanna see-
that would be, no, but that would be, say, 8 acres divided into all these individual lots. I think that's the way Mayhagen was treated.
Yeah.
But when an individual splits a lot in half, this has been the park dedication fee for as long as I can remember.
So is there any documentation supporting that?
Well, I don't know what ordinance it would be.
Or park ordinance, I think.
Yeah.
I guess if there is, I'd like to see that.
See, normally when developers come in, they dedicate some property for a park, and then they don't have to pay this, whereas you don't have that option.
See, so if you're requesting something different than what's in front of us, that means you want to postpone this?
Not necessarily. I guess I'm not agreeing with the $3,500 for
The ordinance was.
the park dedication fee.
Yeah, we just, did-
Is that kind of up to you guys to decide that?
No, it's in the ordinances. We'll provide you with the necessary ordinance information.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
It's a fair question, and I understand why you're asking it.
Other than that, I agree with everything else. Oh, the whack and stack fee. Because I'm only hooking to sewer and not water, I'm only going to pay for the sewer part of it.
yep.
Yes.
Stack fee. Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's all I got.
All right, thanks, sir. Any other questions on the board?
No.
Oh, Steve, seeing as how you were at the planning commission meeting?
Yes. I'll make the motion based on the town planner, staff review, approve the resolution for a minor subdivision to subdivide 5425 Peterson Road into 2 lots, A and B, with the following conditions that are listed in the minutes, I guess, of the July 27th planning meeting. Is that fair enough?
Correct.
1 through 7, which does include the applicant shall pay a fee in lieu of park dedication of $3,500, subject to the clarification from the,
From legal and our
legal
and ordinance, yeah.
so.
All right, motion's made. Do I have a second?
One question, I know it says pay all fees, including SAC and WAC. I guess it's just going to be SAC
Sewer, yeah.
Well,
for this lot, but not the other lot. Okay, never mind, I take that back, sorry. Second,
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I will abstain because the prices are friends of mine and neighbors, so I don't feel appropriate to be voting on this. But motion passes. All right, good luck, guys.
Good luck. Thanks, folks.
No problem. All right, let's move on. We're on the drought warning from the DNR.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we received this correspondence from the DNR Friday in response to drought conditions around the region. We conferred with TKDA's Dan Nessler, who's their water guru there today. First read of this memo from the DNR sounded a little bit more drastic than it really turns out to be. They are asking for us to initiate the first stages of response to drought conditions. They are asking that we communicate with our residents the need for conservation. And the other thing that we are going to be doing is we're going to be addressing our heavy water users here within the next week to get everybody to start considering where we are with water use. The other thing that we have outstanding there, and I'll let Dale talk a little bit about what else we went over with this today, is a legal question as it relates to our existing ordinance regarding water management. In our ordinance 92, it says in order to restrict water use, it has to be done in response to a governor order.
Order, yes, order
Yes,
of emergency.
Or an emergency. The governor has not made that type of an emergency or mandate for us to follow as yet. So we got a little bit of a gray area as to how we should respond to this, but I'm going to defer that to legal's research here in the next day or two as to how we should go about this. Dale, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, it was just like you had said, it's the communications on conservation that need to be done. Patrick and I, we're having a staff team meeting tomorrow.
We are.
Talk through staff on how that's going to be. There's plenty of information out there, how it's going to be distributed, what source, social media, website, news and views,
Yep.
all that type of stuff.
First thing we'll put out is this actual memo for everybody to see, but we'll follow it up with additional. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
How's the soccer field seating going?
Good. Well, we reduced, from what we started.
Are you still watering twice a day,
No, once a day.
once a day? At 11?
But I don't know the time for sure.
All right.
It's once a day.
But the grass is taking.
Yes, it is, and we're going to be reseeding here soon. So overseed the areas that are a little thin.
Actually, it looks 100% better than it did.
Well, it was
30
pretty bad before.
It was
so
very
I'm
bad.
sure it
Yes,
looks
it's-
better than it did.
Also, as long as we're talking about the soccer fields, apparently it is on this fall schedule for soccer use. I was told today it was, so
We
This-
were very clear in communicating to
please verify that with the
we-
school district.
within the last week.
Okay.
We told them.
Maybe
The
it's not
school
what you
district
told
thought so?
them, it's
Well,
what they heard.
I was at the park today, and one of the parents there said, yeah, we're looking forward to coming back here in the fall because it's on the schedule. And I said, it is?
Maybe they've got games scheduled, but it shouldn't be at Polar Lakes.
Well-
It's been made very clear.
Just please
Okay.
make sure.
Well, with this whole thing, do we have to revisit our sprinkling ordinance? Instead of the odd even every other day, are we going to be forced to go every 3 days? Or change this up?
Well, we did, as you know, we redid our fines for excessive use and being caught irrigating outside of our ordinance requirements. But, I mean, it's the board's discretion as to whether or not they want to reapproach our schedule as to what our residents can or can't do with their irrigation.
This just all gets back to enforcement.
Yeah, that's the big question.
Yeah.
The other item, like in the two items, the second item was the goal of 150% of January pumping is what the goal is. That goes with that. The state job.
So this is more just kind of a heads up of what's going on. I can't say if it's going to get any worse. I mean, we're kind of getting at the end of a heavy irrigation season, and typically correspondence that has come to us from DNR has been late fall. I want to say late October or early November, as it relates to lake level. This is a earlier memo as it relates to water, but its conditions have changed. So we'll be watching out for anything further coming from them. But for right now, we have 2 preliminary steps that we should be taking.
We already do communicate through the news and views on a fairly regular basis.
Monthly.
Does that meet this specific request that they are making?
Well, I think we need a little bit more than that.
Okay.
Yep. I think we'll come up with some extra steps tomorrow as to how we can get this out. We have multiple platforms that we can utilize on a daily and weekly basis. So.
Okay. And then to one of your comments about where we do odd, even, 6 to 10, do we need to revisit that? That's been on the topic for the Utility Commission. I know it was discussed in the past. Do we move away from that to something else where it's still regulating the amount of water, but does it have to be every other day, 6 to 10? Could it be something else?
I think the way I'm sorry if you hadn't finished.
No, I was just going to say, I know we've already come out with the agenda for Thursday, but it's been kicked around.
I think and I might remember this differently than you, Scott, I think the Utility Commission had left discussions of redoing our schedules based upon finding enforcement tools. I'm pretty sure that's where we left it. I think we had a lot of ideas that were thrown around in terms of what we can or can't do inside our existing ordinance and maybe improving it. Right now, I think we have ideas about what we're going to do in 2024, but right now we just don't have that enforcement capability. Makes it tough.
We wanted to get that in place first.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Anything else?
Nope.
So it's just informational, you don't need a formal action?
Don't need an action. You'll probably see some stepped up communications in terms of where we are with water coming up here in the next couple days.
All right, that concludes our regular agenda. We now have open time. I notice we still have some residents here. Just want to step up, state your name and address for the record.
Gary Zerwas, 2524 Street. May it'll be 50 years I've been there. Anyways, first I'm going to talk about something that concerns all of us, and that's the way the garbage is picked up here. In Texas, they go down one way. All the garbage cans are on one side of the street. If we did that, the very first day, the fuel cost is cut in half. The pollution is cut in half. Tearing up the roads is cut in half. I suggested this 13 years ago and did it again 9 years ago. It's kind of sad. Now I'm going to go back to where my problem here. I'm a resident of Texas. I'm here for 3 months. I'm there for 9 months. In March of 2021, I put my garbage on hold. Been doing it for years. I got a bill for $18, so I call up Republic, and they said there must be a mistake. Call me back, no, the township says you can't be on hold. You have to pay. Is there any other options? Yeah, cancel it. Do that then. That's fine. Works for me. 2 days later, if you own property, you got to pay. And something's not right here. I did the math. An example. 52 weeks in a year, 26 picks up for recycling, right? That's 78 pickups. The cost for each one of you is $4.38 a pickup. For me, it's $19.01 because I'm only here I got 18 pickups the time that I'm here. I have a form that I can sign saying it's about if I'm an employer, got a dumpster. I'm not here. I'm paying my garbage bill down in Texas to Allied Waste. What can we do about this?
Well, Scott, you might be able to explain this a little better than I do, but
Oh, wait, just a minute before I quit here. I talked to Republic, the city of St. Paul, Shoreview, North St. Paul, all these cities, Hugo, they allow winter snowbirds, whatever you want to call us. We leave for the winter. In other words, you don't pay for your garbage because we're not here. They allow that. We always allowed it up until March of 2021. Or 22, excuse me. What changed?
I didn't know that changed. That's always been that way.
I can show you the bills. Right
no,
now, when I pay on the 20th, I will pay it out over $300 and some dollars. $338.63. And I've had,
Based on our contract with Republic.
oh, by the way, I'm leaving, the last pickup for me will be on August 29th, this month. I'm leaving on the 1st, September. This is crazy.
So I suspect you've already had conversations with staff a few times.
Yes.
And what I'm going to say, you've already heard, which is it's in our contract that we negotiated with our refuse hauler. As far as picking up on one side of the street, that's interesting. We'll talk about that with them, but I don't think that's why you're really here.
No, I'm here because I'm being overcharged.
Because you're being assessed on a regular basis for the full year, even though you're only here part of the year. And other cities may have snowbird rates or
Well,
pause.
you just shut it down when you're not here. You don't pay.
Okay,
That's the way it's always been. Up until, I've been retired for 15 years now. It's always worked out until last year.
so as I was saying, I think what I'm going to tell you is you've already heard. And that is that that's the agreement that we negotiated with our refuse hauler, Republic. Now, was there a change in that? I don't remember, because we did sign this a couple years ago. There was a lot of give and take in the negotiations to get a good rate. I do know that they do not have that in our contract at this point. Now, that was what was negotiated. Is it a good deal? At the time, it kind of made sense to us. Are we going to renegotiate when we have the opportunity in another year or so?
Negotiations coming up here in the next 6 months.
Probably. Does it make sense for somebody from your perspective? Obviously, it doesn't. That was the rationale, is it was a good deal overall. And then if you had these other conditions, and you didn't need to have the trash picked up, then you could sign a form and that was it.
I have that.
Clearly, it doesn't apply to you, though.
Not at all.
Okay, well, and I'll say this respectfully, you're an outlier. Respectfully. Different, it's something that I don't think anybody had considered when we were negotiating these rates recently, in the past couple of years. Is it something we should? Okay.
Let me go back to where it says if you own property in the township, you cannot cancel. Township owns property, right? Are you paying what I'm paying?
We pay a refuse rate, you
I'd like to
bet.
see your bill. There's a lot next to me, one lot over, you own, because I used to own it.
Okay.
It's all swamp. Are you paying a garbage bill for that lot?
We have parks, we have
That's not the
buildings.
park. This is right, there's one lot that I'm here, the next lot, then you guys own all the way to Grand. Are you paying garbage for that property?
We'd have to see the address for the property you're talking about.
Across from Mark Anderson. You know who he is? Mark Connie Anderson. Directly across from Mark and Connie Anderson. It's all swamp. But you guys own it.
I would say Republic's being a bit disingenuous here because, don't, hang on. If Republic is saying we control everything, that's not correct. We negotiate a contract with Republic. Republic says, here's what we wanted, here's what we expect you to collect on our behalf. We're actually acting as a collection agent for Republic on this. So Republic is not being exactly clear to you.
Not at all.
So they're trying to blame the township for a contract term which they requested and we negotiated with them. Well, we'll take a look at the contract, okay? We understand exactly what you're saying, but we have to look at the contract. Whatever the contract says, that's what we have to collect.
And if that's something we could look at when the contract comes up due, and if it's something that's affecting some residents, we'll see if we can get that out of
It'll
there.
affect you someday, maybe.
We can't change it now, but you gotta also remember something. Everybody pays for their garbage, but that bill is also paying for other amenities. We have township cleanup days where we literally take the Otter Lake School for 2 weekends and take trash upon trash and recycle. That helps pay for that also. So it's not like you're just paying for your pickup. You are helping pay for the rest of the township for this little perk that we do.
I suspect, though, he's not here when that is.
But it doesn't matter, but we have to pay for that.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to find some way to subsidize that.
Again, it's all contracted.
Yeah.
And you raise a good point. We have to look at the contract, and that's, would say when the contract's renegotiated,
That's a lot of
we
money
better
in my
bring
pocket
it.
for nothing, you know, I'm spending money that, what am I getting for it?
Yeah.
By the way, when I'm here, believe it or not, like, my recycling goes down once a month. I don't have that much. We're only, my wife and I. My garbage didn't bring down last week. Tomorrow I've got 2 bags to bring down. So even when I'm here, I don't contribute that much refuse, whatever.
We understand what you're saying. And the bottom line is that it's all part of what the contract covers, and we have to look at this.
Check that out, please, because this is, hurts the old people, you know?
I understand what you're saying.
And the other thing is too, we have looked at, I think, putting garbage cans on one side.
That's a great idea.
Part of the problem with those, that does create a hazard for people going across the street. We don't want to see anybody having to haul a garbage can across the street. It's just a public safety issue, especially kids that haul the garbage cans up. That's why we keep them on everybody's side of the street.
Well, like you said, it cuts everything in half.
I know, we talked about it because it does save money.
Yeah.
All right,
Anyways, that's all I have.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good winter.
Yeah, you too. You too.
All right, anybody else? Will it be as a lively a discussion?
No, mine's boring. Mike Tim, 5210 Bald Eagle Boulevard East. I don't know if I'm out of place or what. We went through the Planning Commission, we went through the Variance Committee, and I thought we were going to be on the schedule for today.
Or what?
I need 2 posts in my patio for my replacement deck because I had to have a roof done.
It's right at the corner of Bald Eagle Avenue and
Yes,
East
sir.
Bald Eagle Boulevard.
Right on the corner there.
It was at the Planning Commission, and I was at the Planning Commission, and I will, you know, I don't schedule this stuff, but I believe, what I remember hearing is that you would be notified when it was going to be on there, maybe the first one, maybe the second one, but I don't know if it was promised verbatim that it was
There have been
tonight.
no promises, so
Okay.
I just kind of showed up to this. one.
So typically, when we deal with planning questions and issues and requests and that kind of thing, we're trying to time them for the second meeting of the month because that's when our contracted planner can be here to walk us through those types of things.
Okay.
So I'm happy to check to see which of the agendas you're on, but I'm assuming you're probably going to be on the 21st, which is the next meeting.
I did call Evan,
Okay.
and I never got a response
Okay.
back. I talked to Mike Johnson,
Yeah.
and he said, check the website and have a meeting, and here, I found this meeting.
Yeah.
So let me check with Evan tomorrow, see where he's got it scheduled for him. I'm assuming it's going to be the 21st.
This is just the simplest thing.
Okay.
All right, yeah, you want to check back with staff, we can get you some information on it, give you a definite.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
I didn't get very far, did
What'd you forget?
Take care.
Take it easy.
Yeah, but for what?
You get a reduction in your solid waste pickup. You have to prove that you're taking your solid waste.
Not here.
Yeah, okay,
It doesn't
maybe
apply to
we
me.
can't.
It doesn't apply to me at all. It's crazy.
Well,
All right, Bob, what else you got?
Okay. I'm assuming that I'm in the right place for my issues. And I'm sorry that Mike Johnson's not here to defend himself. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but I have been in contact with him via emails about some neighbors and the issues that I have with them, and I haven't gotten any response from him. He's code enforcement, that's why I went to him with these issues, and I haven't seen any movement at these neighbors, at the residence. So one of them is 2285th Court. Owner is Lee Gorowski. Years ago, they applied to have a garage built beyond the setback, the 10-foot setback, I believe it is, from the drip edge. And that was going closer towards my property. And I agreed to let the variance go through. under one condition, and that is that all of the runoff from their roof line would be guttered and run down their driveway. And everything went great for several years. And over the last couple years, the downspout is now just pointing off to the side of the garage, and that, as I said before, I'm the lowest point back there. That rain water goes directly into my yard, and it adds to my flooding issues. All I'm asking for, and I sent them a letter, and I've got a copy of the letter that I dropped off in their door.
When did you do that?
When did I do it?
Yeah. A day ago, a week ago, a month ago?
May 8th, 2023. Please add on to your downspout on the front of your garage, extend onto the driveway, and making sure.
Wait, no, you sent that to the neighbor or to Mike?
2280 is the neighbor that's I have the problem with.
Okay.
And I told Mike what I did. I sent the letter, got no response. Then I told Mike, this is what I did. I got no response from the neighbor. So all I'm asking for is for somebody, possibly Mike Johnson, to go there and force them. They agreed, it's all in writing, that they would run the water from their garage roof down their driveway, not off to the side. That's it on that one. Go ahead.
What's your address again?
2302 Fifth Court.
And this address is 2280
Correct.
Fifth?
Fifth Court.
Fifth Court.
Yes. So Fifth Court, it ends in a T. You go to the end of the T to the right, that's me.
Okay, I see. All right.
And this neighbor is
I'm trying to see it on the map.
lots
Okay.
from me.
Now I see.
It should be something as simple as somebody knocking on the door and saying, hey, you agreed to do this. I'm code enforcement. You need to run your gutter down the driveway. And it won't affect anybody. It won't, that water runoff will just run right down Fifth Court out to the street and disperse. It's not like they're diverting their water issue. This was all research back when we were applying.
I understand it. And like I said, and I don't make excuses for our building inspector, but he does have a full plate.
Sure.
I know, that's why I was asking when the last time you contacted him, but I think, sure, Patrick, if you just want to bring this up to him.
No problem.
And see where he's sitting with it. Mike's pretty good. Whether it's on the list and it got moved, but he's pretty good about getting to this stuff, so.
I get it, and it's just something that I've tried, to be neighborly. I don't want to confront face to face.
No, I get it.
A letter, nice, easy letter that didn't go anywhere. So I'm kind of going through the chain of command, if you will, and now I'm here on public record,
And you're
making
sometimes better off doing that.
Township,
Right.
so, okay. The bigger issue is 2286 Fifth Court, which is between 2280 and the end of T, and the end of Fifth Court T. 2286 Fifth Court is owned by Cynthia Esteban, and she has her son and grandson living there with her. Again, I've asked Mr. Johnson for some help with these issues, and I haven't seen anything done to the property. No response from Mike in an email saying I'll go talk to him, whatever. So here I am, again, presenting this to you all. The first issue is that they have literally built a junkyard on all sides of their house and garage. I've got my laptop with a flash drive with all kinds of pictures that I can show you, but if you need to see them, I can meet personally, privately, whatever you want to do inside. We're not taking everybody's time tonight. They have multiple vehicles, boats, and trailers, not just in their in the driveway. It's a two-car garage, so it'd be a two-car driveway. They have jammed 3 vehicles in there, and they alternate vehicles and boats because I think that they buy and they sell these toys and vehicles, try to make some money at it, and they're destroying their yard and their fence because they're packed in so tight, and they've got a pontoon in the front yard, and they've got a bass boat in the front yard, and they tore apart their chain link fence so they could back a boat behind the garage, a van that doesn't run, and then another Jeep in front of that. And this is all consuming their yard, not their driveway. And there is an ordinance that says something along the lines of 300 square foot max outside the driveway. And they have a pontoon that's about 25 feet long and about 10 feet wide. That consumes just about all of that. And they've got all the other vehicles and toys that I talked about. They're way beyond.
I believe that ordinance specifies trailers and motorhomes, all right?
Yep.
So it doesn't include cars.
Include
But every
cars.
vehicle has to be currently licensed and operable.
Okay, I went through the ordinances, and I believe it speaks of vehicles, recreational vehicles and others. I don't necessarily, it says all year.
RVs.
Yeah. We went through all this with Township Drive a couple years ago.
We did.
Yep.
I mean, it lists, lots of recreational vehicles, but, antique cars, recreational vehicles, trailers, and so forth. So either way, that is part of the problem. We all have junk, somewhere around our, behind our garage, whatever. And, I'm guilty of that, but not in everybody's face. Like, we have to drive past this every single day, and it's disgusting.
Well, the township is, I hate to say it, but we're a little bit complaint-driven. We don't know a lot of the stuff going on until someone like you comes up and makes us aware of it.
Yep.
And then it goes on our watch list, and then as Mike weeds through all these, we try to handle them
Okay.
case by case. So it's not like we're allowing this, it's just sometimes we need folks like you to make us aware of it.
Yep, and I totally get it. I mean, we're kind of tucked back in the weeds anyway. And I've let this go on for a while. It's like, maybe they'll, clean it up as time goes on, but it's just getting worse and worse. So I'm asking if the township could get involved and see what you can do to remove some of the vehicles. And then there's garbage. I mean, there's broken down picnic tables, and there's tents, and they have a branch that broke down. They just throw it in the yard. And if somebody drives by, you'll see what I'm saying. It's just a junkyard. They can't throw anything away. So,
Well, Chad, that gets to be what, public nuisance?
Public nuisance, yeah.
okay. The second issue I have with the same 2286 Fifth Court is that in the process of them working on all of these vehicles and their boats and so forth, they are spilling oil and tranny fluid all over the street. And in their driveway, there is literally a puddle that's probably 3-foot diameter, and I don't know if they don't use a drip pan or what the issue is, but I also contacted Ramsey County and going to be with the Pollution Control Agency, whoever it's going to be, because they're flooding the ground with oils. And there's where I told you they cut the fence open. They have this Jeep that goes in and out of there. That thing is leaking, and you can see the streaks. And I got pictures of all this too. They got streaks that are coming out and going around down Fifth Court, and they're dragging mud out at the same time because their yard is all muddy. So I'm asking the township to get involved with this as well.
Chad, is that beyond our privy, or do we?
Well, the oil, draining oil onto the driveway, that might be considered to be a public nuisance.
I think we did that with Township. We
Yeah.
cited them for that.
I'd say it's a public nuisance.
Okay, so
The mud,
Bigger problem, though.
that's more, I don't think that's a public nuisance per se. And actually, most of the time you see the whole issue of mud is when you're dealing with construction sites.
would this be a watershed issue?
Well, Dale, go ahead.
I just want to add that it would be considered illicit discharge. Would it go under the MS4
Right.
permit? That would be where we have some enforcement, and Jamie can
Sure.
do that too.
Okay. That'd be
We have some
illicit dis-
avenues, sir, to pursue
Yeah.
this. We have some different avenues to pursue this.
Okay.
As just a public nuisance, or like Dale says, illicit discharge, or maybe, are you Race Creek watershed there? You're in a watershed.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they see this kind of stuff, they get involved also, so.
Yeah. I remember that name because I had an issue when a neighbor to my south, they built a berm along the north side of their property to stop the natural flow
Yeah,
of rainwater.
they would have gotten involved in that.
Remember that?
Yep.
And they put a berm up so that dammed all that water stay in my yard. So it's a constant battle back there. But yeah, I
couple
went to
years
your
ago, wasn't it?
website and I've got all of the disposal and the residents, and your scattering of mixed municipal. It's in there, what you were saying as far as like a nuisance.
So we have a couple different avenues and a couple
Yeah.
different entities we may get involved with.
Probably should notify Race Creek Watershed of this.
Right.
And I can get it on Mike's radar tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
All
That's all
right,
I
thank you,
have.
sir, we appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Bob.
All right, I need a motion to receive agenda material and supplements.
So moved?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I need a motion to adjourn at 8:14.
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.